Theodore Beza, Icones, Philip Melanchthon, Episode 2. Pietate vitae innocentia, ac in primis incomparabilis modestiae exemplo, non modo ceteris, verum etiam te ipso superiorem, quem denique odit nemo nisi omnium odio dignissimus, scilicet hoc tuis laudibus unum deerat, ut ingrati discipuli, non nulli, qui te vivum pene adorarant mortuum incesserent, admirabili certe Dei providentia, nequos ipsi sibi, commentif sunt te terrimus erdordres ex te communi quam diu, vixisti omnium ferdere gentium doctora dedicisse viderentur. Beza here continues in his paean of praise to the character and accomplishments of Philip Melanchthon. Now, admittedly, this is quite a long passage to cover in a short amount of time, but I blame Beza himself. He likes to write these long, beautiful Latin periods, and this is really only 3 sentences. So, this portion is too short for an episode, and yet to include this third long and gorgeous sentence takes probably too long, so I beg your indulgence. The context for this first sentence is taken from the previous sentence, where the verb is celebraverit. And in that sentence, Beza asked the question, who could be found who could praise you, celebraverit, in a way that is in keeping with your dignitate, your moral worth. And now he says, in your pietate, in the righteousness of your life, in the vitae innocentia, the blamelessness of your living, and especially in primis, most of all, in the incomparabilis modestiae exemplo, in the example you have provided of unrivaled humility, incomparabilis modestiae. Not only others, non modo ceteris, but even your own self. In other words, each time Melanchthon undertakes some task, he not only surpasses others, but he even surpasses his own previous example of excellence. Thus it's difficult to find someone adequate to praise him. So we have here pietate as an ablative of specification, innocentia an ablative of specification, exemplo also. Then we have this nice balanced non modo, verum etiam, and ceteris, which is an ablative of comparison, than others, te ipso also, an ablative of comparison, and superiorem, the comparative adjective, more distinguished not only than others, but even your own self. Quem denique, whom, such a person at last, nobody, nemo, hates. So Melanchthon is universally loved, Beza says. No one hates except for nisi, that person who is deserving, dignissimus, and the most deserving of the hatred of everyone else. So the only persons who could hate Melanchthon are those who are themselves most deserving of everyone else's hate. Dignissimus is a superlative adjective, and from dignus, and it goes with this ablative odio, this neuter singular ablative. It's actually an ablative of means, and used regularly with the adjective dignus. Now, quite plainly, scilicet, evidently, this one thing is lacking, was lacking, or was missing in your list of accomplishments, your praises. That, we're going to be told what one thing is missing, that many, not none, several of your ungrateful students, those who are undeserving or ungrateful for their instruction, who, qui adorarant, this is a pluperfect, the uncompressed form is adorarant, who had praised you, who had almost adored you, almost praised you while you were alive, vivum, when dead, mortuum incesserent. That is, they attack you now that you are dead. And, admirabili, for sure, by a remarkable and unbelievable providence of God, admirabili providentia Dei, they did this, ne viderentur, lest they should seem to have learned, didicisse, quos errores, some errors, quos after ne is actually aliquos. It's how it's to be understood, an indefinite pronoun. Lest they should seem to have learned any of those errors, the ones that they themselves commenti sunt, fashioned for themselves, and these are teterdermost, the most shameful errors, lest they seem to have learned them from you, ex te, you who are the communi doctora, the universal instructor of almost all the nations, omnium fere gentium, for as long as you lived, quam diu vixisti. In other words, Beza is saying that although they almost worshipped you while you were alive, they have attacked you while you are dead. And that actually is a good thing, Beza says. It's the remarkable providence of God, because Beza does not want anyone to think that these persons learned, didikisse, these most shameful errors from him, that is, from Melanchthon.